to have a look at the numbers nowadays and see who's got something. Because if you show something in the numbers here, you can guarantee there'll be that lazy email from a coach to say, I appreciate the ride you did today. Perhaps you'd like to come and join the training group. This is how it happens nowadays. Power output's so important. Back in the day, it was all about results, and then it went on to VO2 maxes and heart rates and so forth, and where your blood lactate would be and so forth in the testing lab. But now it's very simple. Do they have the numbers? Have they got the numbers that can get them up and keep them up with the team and so forth? And that's what the coaches are looking at now. Here is our climb on the back straight. And Dalton Stretton, I'm impressed with the way this man is going. He sets the pace again. No surprise though. As they go, Dylan Ether, nearly 7 watts per kilo. Just testing the legs here well and truly of the rest of the riders, because this is only a short climb. They turn right at the top of this climb and they descend very, very quickly indeed back towards the Paterberg. Ether putting the pressure on. Now, I've talked about this climb being a little bit of a springboard climb. This would be a perfect little springboard climb. If we're out on the open road, you can imagine the wind coming across that section of road in the real world. Wind coming left to right across, and the guy sitting second or third wheel just says, no, you can chase, and swings over and gets out of the way. But you don't have to worry about that on this one. There's no wind to contend with. Over 400 watts there for Dylan as he turned right. Now he'll start the descent. We have a look on the left-hand side of our computer screen. He's got about 30, 40, 50 metres over the other 3. They won't be panicking too much, I wouldn't have thought, just at the moment, because they know now the circuit, and this descent goes very, very quickly to the Paterberg. So you'll be trying to just hold on to the legs that little bit, just recover that little bit, and know fully well that in about a minute's time, maybe less, you're going to pretty much be doing an all-out effort again as you go over the top of the Paterberg. Dylan Ether leads the way. He's quite happy to be there. You have a look at the watts per kilo. He's still putting the pressure on as the other 3 lads. Not a lot of pressure on there for Dalton or Callum. Mitch McGovern's not prepared to let Dylan go too far. He's raced with him outdoors enough to know the strength of Dylan Ether. Dylan will make the turn to the right here. As we look back down the course, nice aerial shot there. They're coming back to him ever so slightly. Dylan's able to recover that little bit. He's about to turn to what will be turn to our right, but he'll be making a left-hand turn on screen. If we were behind him, he'd be turning to the left, and he'll be going up the Paterberg just about now. There you go. Onto the cobbles, the cobblestones, letting us know that we're on the Paterberg for the 3rd time up the hill. And you can see the watts per kilo goes straight up. And look at this. Callum Milne is the rider chasing, and he's up to 7.7, 7.88 watts per kilo for Callum Milne. He's trying to come across with Mitchell McGovern. Dalton Stretton is starting this climb a little bit further back, and he's been a rider who's been leading over the top. This is Dylan Ether setting the tempo. Callum Milne trying to ride back to him. Here he comes. He's got Mitch McGovern with him as well. 6.5 watts, 7 watts. Dalton Stretton. He's not really losing too much more distance, but he's certainly not coming back at the moment. So now our 3 leaders, Ether, Callum Milne, Mitchell McGovern. And then we go back to Dalton Stretton. Well, he started this climb about 50 or 60 metres behind. He's about the same at the moment. We've gone through the absolute steepest part of the climb. They're about to turn right and head towards the finish line. Dalton Stretton's got some work to do, starting to lose a little bit of distance. McGovern now turns the screw as he heads towards the start-finish line this time. 16, just under 17 kilometres to go. And when we get on to round number 3, well, we'll more than likely see the junior women's 19s and the junior men's 17s and the junior women's 15s at the next round of racing, just to even it up so everyone gets to be able to see what's happening. We'll see 1 or 2 riders there. Monty Moore's just come on. He got a bit of a technical issue during the race. That's unfortunate, mate. We hope to see you back for the next one. Thomas Moore, Balmoral Cycling Club. Looks like he had a little bit of a technical difficulty with the RGT platform here today. We do see that from time to time. We saw Dylan Ether have troubles with it in the last round. Let's hope it doesn't have a problem for Dylan in this one, because he's going beautifully here today, as he was last time. So Thomas, all the best to Thomas Moore. Looks like he had a bit of a difficult opportunity there. So I hope to see you back for the next one. Mitch McGovern leads the way down the descent now. This is the descent that's going to lead us to the climb around the back straight. Any questions, of course, direct them to, if you want to send an email to Cycling Australia, ask how to get into the next round and so forth. Remember to go onto the www.nationalroadseries.com.au is where you need to look. There's our riders just ascending their way. This is our 3 leaders now. Dalton Stretton seems to, he's lost about 500 metres. He's not really getting taken over by anybody behind him. So Dalton Stretton had a little bit of a rough patch going up the time of the Paterberg the last time, and he was with these leaders initially. Now we've got just 3 riders fighting it out between themselves. We're onto the climb in the back straight here of the Paterberg, or what I'm calling the back straight anyway. It's probably not the back straight. It's probably closer to the side straight, almost back to the finish straight. But for my money, this is the back straight. Dylan Ether leads the way in front of Callum. Have a look at the watts per kilo. These boys aren't messing around, are they? Up over 7 watts at some point, up over 8 watts as they go through. Callum Milne leads the way. Dylan Ether, Mitch McGovern. They're just coming up to halfway. This is Dalton Stretton. He's on the descent come towards this climb, and he's making up some ground. So let's hope that Dalton can get himself a little bit closer to these guys. It's going to be a very big ask to try and come back to them now. The way he lost distance at the bottom of the Paterberg, I can only figure that he had a technical issue, because he was right with the leaders when it happened, and the climb hadn't really started. And he wasn't with them. He's coming back to them a little bit now, because he, of course, was on the descent. But now we're back with our leaders, Dylan Ether, Callum Milne and Mitch McGovern, and they are on the descent to the Paterberg. And if you look to your top right-hand corner of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that this pace goes right up, 50, 60, 70 kilometres an hour. And it's very, very fast indeed back down to this descent to the Paterberg. So because there is a breakaway now, these 3 together, you see the power to weight ratio, the watts per kilo, nothing at all from the riders here. They're all just taking the opportunity to save the legs a little bit. It gives an opportunity to people like Dalton Stretton to come back. But these guys, it's obviously been very, very hard on the Paterberg for these riders, because this is the lowest power output that I've seen from any field here this morning on this descent. The junior boys 15s and the junior women's 17s, well, they were still showing 3 and 4 watts per kilo on the descent, but the under 19s being a lot more tactical. And that with tactics comes experience comes knowledge, and the smarts are being used here by the riders as they went down that descent. It starts to climb already. They're going to turn left here, and they are going to start the Paterberg again. And Dylan Ether is the rider who hits the cobbles first. Mitch McGovern with him, back to Callum Milne as they start the climb. Ether, McGovern and Callum Milne doing very nicely indeed. Dalton Stretton on the descent. You can see the watts per kilo of Dalton Stretton very, very low, because he's on the descent. He'll be going very quickly though, you can guarantee you of that. Dylan Ether riding away at this stage on the climb, around 10%. In real life and also on this RGT platform, you can see from the bottom of the climb right to the top, the farmhouse on the right-hand side of the road at the corner at the top of the climb, so you can see exactly where everything is. And it'll be great if you're on good legs, but if you haven't got good legs, it'd be quite heartbreaking because the speed you're going up at, well, it'll feel like you're actually never getting there. 20% is where we are at the moment. It's the last 100 meters of the climb. Dylan Ether, Callum Milne, and Mitch McGovern. And see, Dalton Stratton is back to around 300 meters. He was at 700, 600 meters before. He's at 300 meters behind now. So he's just starting the climb here. So these riders will virtually leave the climb as Dalton Stratton will still be on it chasing. So he's got some work to do, but he's fighting on very nicely indeed. These riders have been going almost half an hour here. Dylan Ether, Callum Milne, they lead through. They've got just under 13 kilometres to go. As they go through, McGovern will lead through the start-finish line. Dylan Ether, Callum Milne, Dalton Stratton. That gap is going to get bigger again for poor old Dalton there because these guys are on the false flat across the top of the Paterberg. The pace will go on. There's been some good racing from these riders. 12 kilometres, just over 12 kilometres of racing still to go for our Junior 19s. Dalton Stratton. You can see the gap going up that little bit more. It's still around about 500 to 600 metres for Dalton. And you can see he's just coming over the top of the climb now. So the three leaders, Dylan, Mitchell and Callum. Now, of course, in these online platforms like RGT, you still do get the benefit of being able to slipstream. So it'll be interesting to see how the riders go with that and see if one or two riders have learned how to slipstream that little bit more. And of course, you'll know that they're slipstreaming when their watts per kilo goes right down, especially if they're on a sort of a flat piece of road. If you say you've got two riders sitting around 4.5, 4.8, and then you've got a third rider sitting in doing 3.1, 3.2, it quite simply, it means he's getting the slipstream, being able to sit on like we would in any other race. And it's certainly not sandbagging. I would be the last person in the history of the world to accuse a rider of sandbagging. If somebody else wants to do the turn, I say let them do it. It's about crossing the line first, isn't it? Don't you agree? Of course you do. Dylan Ether leads the way. Mitch McGovern, Callum Milne as they go down the hill. Dalton Stratton out to over a kilometre behind the riders now. He's lost a fair bit of distance there that time. And keep going, Dalton. This is the National Junior Road Series. It's not the local clubby. It's still fourth on the road in the National Junior Road Series, which is fantastic. I apologise for any breakup that may be occurring with the server here today. We've gone pretty well. It's just got over 11.5 kilometres to go. Remember, you can go onto the RGT platform for all of the results straight after each event today. The National Road Series Facebook page will have those links up either this afternoon or tomorrow, so you'll be able to see all of the results from the racing. And of course, make sure you like and follow the National Road Series pages because this is where all the information, you'll be able to find all the information from time to time about the upcoming races and so forth. It's a very nice way to do it. So we drop down the set. So we're just having a look. This is our robots. So sorry for the picture breakup, ladies and gentlemen. The riders at home will still be able to see what they're doing. So riders, keep going. My commentary won't make any sense whatsoever just for the moment because even our robot got removed from the telecast and we're just going back to the race very shortly. So I do apologise. As soon as we've got live pictures, I'll come back to you with a little bit more information.